Hey ladies, hello, hello, Tracey Lee here. I am so excited to be a part of this today. I am so grateful for the invitation from Stephanie. I love that girl. She's amazing. And anything that she's creating, I'm getting behind. We met a couple of years ago at an event and our energies matched and we just stuck around each other. And this is going to be epic today. I hope you're loving the summit. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I don't know what phase you're in right now, but this is going to be juicy. So good. Okay, before I get started, I want to just share something I think is really important. And I want to create this vibe, this energy, this container for us to be spending the next 25, 30 minutes together as we talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Um, I want us to imagine we're all sitting at a cafe around a big table and we're just having this amazing conversation. I don't want this to be just this talk. I want it to be a conversation that's connected, that you're feeling, that you're integrating. And I've created in a way that you're going to be a part of it. So I hope you love that. And I also want to share how I see you, even though I can't physically see you. Even though we're not actually sitting at that table, I do bring women together every 2 weeks in our community. I live in Newmarket, Ontario. I don't know where you're from. Maybe you're in our community too. If you know Steph, there's a good chance that you are. But I bring women together and we meet at a cafe every 2 weeks and we sit around this table and we have really powerful conversations. And when I see these women come and arrive every 2 weeks, new people, same people, different all the time. I don't see women as women coming in with their struggles and challenges and all of that. I see women that are a force, that are powerful, that are anchored in who they are, that are ready to make the moves, that are important to them, that matter to them, that are aligned to them. And I wasn't always that girl. I wasn't always that woman. I have grown into her. And that's how I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you as that force, the woman who's ready for more truth, more depth, more alignment in her life. Because isn't that what living your $1 million life is all about? I don't think it's about the money, because money is pretty empty without life force, isn't it? When we are showing up and operating from a place that is so anchored and grounded in our truth, when we trust ourselves on such a deep level, when we move with fear and not against it, all of a sudden things just happen, show up, changes are made without so much effort. I think that's what $1 million life is all about. That's what it means to me. What does it mean to you? Maybe ask yourself that question right now. So we're not here to talk about money today, but we are here to talk about clarity. Clarity. What does that mean to you? What does clarity feel like in your body? Is it an exhale? It is for me. It's taken me a long time to get here, though, and that's okay. That was my path. I know why I was on it. And if I hadn't been on it, I wouldn't be here right now. So I'm pretty grateful for all the craziness that it was and that it brought me. I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story and really the truth behind clarity. I'm going to share with you the clarity codes. There's 3 of them, how to integrate them. I'm even going to give you an opportunity to step into that experience right now. And then we're going to close up with a beautiful closing loop so you can walk away going, whew, I hope that you feel a shift today. So get comfortable, find your space. Maybe you have your tea, a candle lit, whatever works for you. The truth about clarity that I have learned and experienced. Clarity has been something I've been seeking my whole life. Clarity has always meant some form of safety for me. And I grew up in an environment that wasn't very safe. Maybe you have too. We all have our traumas. We all have our pasts that have shaped us to who we are today. But clarity felt like control for me. I just wanted to know what was coming next. I wanted to be able to see the path clearly. I wanted to know the staircase. I wanted predictability. I wanted some guarantees. All of that made me feel safe and okay. The big, big quantum leap was when I completely stepped into entrepreneurship. No more corporate, fully in, all in. Clarity became more important to me than ever because clarity in this new phase of my life meant I could put food on the table. I was making income. I was taking care of my family. My responsibilities were met. So I became pretty obsessed with seeking clarity because it affected everything, my decisions, all of it. So what do I do to find that clarity? What do I see so many women that I work with do? Is we start reaching, we go outside of ourselves. Okay, like, that, oh, that worked, and I'm going to try that. And okay, well, if that worked for them, it's going to give me the same result. So all of a sudden, you're layering all of this stuff. And then you're going deep into planning mode and you're behind the scenes, and no one knows the hundreds of hours maybe you're putting into making these changes. I learned, just wanted more information, podcasts, YouTube videos, mentorship. I invested so much time, energy. Maybe you're in the same boat right now. I don't know. Maybe you've been there too. I just wanted to figure it out so I could feel safe and I could do all the things I knew I was responsible to do as a mom. What I didn't realize is the way I was coming and approaching clarity, seeking it, the way I was actually creating more space between what it was that I wanted, the clarity that I was desiring to help me see what was going to be next. All I was doing was creating more noise. And that noise came in the form of self-doubt and more pressure on myself and shame and blame and fears of getting it wrong, making mistakes, disappointing. And then I hit a major point in my life where I had to pause. If I didn't pause, I don't even know where I'd be today. So was it a strategic move? Yes, but it was a move that had to happen. It was very uncomfortable. It was very quiet. Even though the noise in my head was very, very loud, the results were quiet in my business. And it forced me to face myself in a very big way. While I was in that space, things became very clear. I wasn't lacking what I was seeking, which was clarity. I was actually blocking it. So I had to get real. And the truth was that I'm going to share with you today, clarity wasn't something that I could create in my life. It wasn't something I could find. Clarity was only waiting to be revealed. That was it. So if I was blocking it and it's waiting to be revealed, there was work to be done. And it wasn't outside, it was inside. So let that land for a moment. Clarity isn't created or found. Clarity is only revealed. How does that relate to you right now? If you're struggling to let that land, this might help. I look outside, there's snow on the ground, and it's a cloudy day, but imagine if it's sunny out or it's bright outside. The minute I close my curtains in my office, all of a sudden it's going to be dark in here. Does that mean that the light is gone? No, the light is still there. If you are driving down the highway and it's a winter day and there's a snowstorm and the snow is covering your windshield, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I need to clear the path. I need to clear my view so I can see the path. I can see the road. I can see the highway. Clarity is the same. It's no different. That path forward for you that you think you need to get clarity on to step onto, it's always there. It's not going anywhere. It's your path. Exhale. What changes though when you do this work that I'm going to share with you? If you choose to embody it, because awareness is the first step, integration and embodying are the next, practicing it, experiencing it yourself, applying it, learning from it, and then getting better. If you choose to do that, it's going to change your ability to see clarity. That's it. That's why we're here. So I want to ask you something. You can sit with this for a minute. Where in your life right now are you seeking answers? Are you looking for answers? Maybe it's in a business decision. Maybe it's a career move. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your health. Maybe you just want to know the next step. You want to know, is this the right move? Where do I start? It's questions I get asked all the time from women. I help women with their businesses. I help them take their ideas, allow the clarity of them to be revealed so that they can actually turn them into a tangible idea that creates results, impact, and income and gets them ready to start their business. That's what I do. But when we are seeking clarity, what do? We search, grab our phones, start scrolling. We start asking everybody outside of ourselves. We analyze, we overanalyze our situation, ourselves, everything. We plan, work, do more. I lived there. That's where I lived. It was my comfort zone. It was my familiar. It was my pattern. What I learned through that was this, though. That pattern was really all fueled by force. I was forcing, I was pushing, I was trying to prove. I just needed to keep going, even though my body might be saying, Tracey, enough. When something wasn't working out, it's like, ah. Instead of really seeing the gift of why something maybe didn't work out, I couldn't see that. I just had to keep going. Noise. That created just more noise, more fear, more doubt, more neediness, needing to know. This might be something you want to write down. I'm going to share with you right now. You cannot force clarity into existence. So all of that work I was doing, 12-hour days, 16-hour days, never stopping, missing out on my family, it was all full of force, forcing the answers to come. And that's why they never came. I'm going to share something with you now that was a big turning point for me, that I hope you really let this land. Every time I would say yes to something that mattered to me. So it was like the ability to hear my intuition going, this is important. Have you ever made a decision before? I never really thought about it. It was just like something came into your awareness. You're like, yep, you just did it. It could be small, it could be big, it didn't matter. But you're just like, oh my gosh, yes. It was so like you didn't even have a chance to overthink it. That's something that mattered to you. Like this talk, when Stephanie messaged me and asked me, I immediately, I think within 5 minutes, I just happened to be looking at my Instagram. I happened to see her message. I was like, yeah, I'll totally do that. Absolutely. And then, of course, doubt creeps in. It's like, do you have time for this? You have so much going on. Da 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 da. I was supposed to be away in New Zealand. All these things came up for me. When you say yes to something that matters to you, usually you're forced to face something as well. And for me with this, I was forced to face perfectionism. I want this to be perfect. I don't want it to come across as like cheesy or like, what is she talking about? I had to face fears of getting it wrong. What does that even mean, getting it wrong? But I had to face that and work through that. Feeling vulnerable, feeling exposed, being open to people not liking what I have to share and not making that about me. All of this stuff. Every time I face my fears and say yes to something that matters to me, every time I stop letting fear run the show, every single time more clarity comes. Not before I do it, but after. But every time I let fear decide, I stay stuck. It feels uncomfortable. Even though we say it's safe, it's uncomfortable. When I move with fear, without abandoning myself, meaning choosing something that choosing something that is a no when the yes is what I wanted, or vice versa. Every time I move with fear without abandoning myself, clarity reveals itself every single time. And accepting this invitation has already opened doors for me that I didn't even know were there to open. Just because I decided to trust myself and say yes and to move. So think about where that might be an opportunity for you in your life right now. Before I move into the clarity codes, I want to share something else that's really, really important. And this is how you're going to receive this today, experience it today. Allow it to make a difference in your life today, the way it has for me and so many women that I work with. Transformation doesn't come from information alone. You can't just think your way through things, listen to things. That's information. It only comes from integration. Transformation requires integration, and integration is when you pause, when you ask yourself powerful questions. Like, how is this, what Tracey's sharing, showing up in my life right now? That's when things start to shift, when you start to apply it. You learn from it, you experience it, you grow through it, and then you start over. As I share these codes, I'm going to offer a prompt for each one. There's 3 codes we're going to go through, and each one has a prompt at the end where you can choose to pause, grab a pen, piece of paper, and just write down the thoughts and the reflections that come from that experience. These codes are not steps to follow, they're principles that you can come back to again and again. If something doesn't land with you today, that's perfect. If it all lands, perfect. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong here. There's your openness and your willingness to let go of what you think you know and just go, oh, okay, I'm going to share this opportunity with myself to listen, to see how this feels. Something I've learned too is what I'm sharing, you can translate into your own words, into how it feels right for you. That's really important. I'll share with you a little trick that I do is I'll write things out and then I'll go through them and I'll rewrite them in my own words. When I write, put pen to paper, it lands very differently in my body. I go from up here into my heart. So you're going to pause, listen to the code, do the reflection work, and then come back. And I'll be waiting for here when you do. Okay, we're going to start. Ready? I'm so excited. There's 3 codes. The first one is really the foundation. Clarity code number 1 is clarity is revealed. It is not found or created. Clarity is not something that you can force, you can chase, or you can figure out. But that's all we've been doing. Clarity is revealed when you clear what's in the way. You're blocking your clarity. I was blocking my clarity. This is the work. This is the work that nobody talks about. This is the work that has to happen. Or we're just reaching in and we're always operating outside of ourselves. That's burnout, that's exhaustion, that's resentment, that's frustration, that's staying in this loop. We're wiser than that. When you feel unclear, what's your pattern? Right? When you feel unclear, so much of it is we go and do more. The work on revealing clarity isn't doing more, it's noticing what's blocking your view. Snow, curtains. Forcing our way through it might sound like I got to know this right now. I got to figure this out. Once I get the answer, then I'm going to be good. Then I can make that decision. Once. If I just keep working harder, pushing through this, It's going to be good. I'm going to know exactly what the next step is. It's all going to happen. It's all going to be revealed to me. It's all good. That's forcing. That's pushing. And forcing is fear, and fear creates more noise. So here's your prompt for clarity one. Where in your life right now are you trying to force an answer? And what does that force actually look like for you? What is your process? What do you do? How does it feel in your body? Think about that. Answer those questions and come back. And when you do, I'm ready for clarity code number two. See you soon. Okay, clarity code number two. I hope clarity code one felt good. If it's not landing yet, you can take a pause and come back and watch this later. There's no rush. But if you are ready, clarity code number two is this. Your patterns block clarity. Your patterns are blocking your clarity. Okay. The crazy thing is we don't even know what our patterns are, our blind spots, our roadblocks, these are your patterns are your beliefs that you learned through life, that you've practiced over and over again. They feel familiar, they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel like you, which is why we so often defend them. When someone challenges us about them, we feel defensive and we might defend them. But they're blocking clarity, and clarity is freedom. So we want to get to the root. We want to figure out the patterns, right? We don't need to know why they're there. We don't need to go back and uncover and reveal. Yes, that's healing, right? That's healing trauma. Yes, that's important. But in the context of this conversation, we want to know what our patterns are. This is a really big one because if you don't know your patterns, clarity is going to feel so much harder to reach. And I didn't know this. This has been my struggle. This is not something I've known for a long time, but it's something I didn't realize for a long time. I thought that was really blocking my success was strategy. Oh my gosh. So I just like strategy, reach, find the perfect framework, the perfect blueprint, the perfect plan, all of that. That was gonna bring me the success I needed. I was going to be so clear. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew the path I was on. This is right. Confidence, discipline. Those are all the things that I thought I needed to be successful. When all I needed was clarity. And I needed to know what was blocking my clarity. But once I did, everything started to flow. The process of recognizing the patterns, though, there was another layer that I want to bring up that is really important. When you start to realize your patterns, all of a sudden there can be this shame. That's part of the healing process. Blame on yourself or outside world. That's part of the process. Judgment. I just want to let you know that can come up, and it will come up. I had to learn how to be really compassionate to myself. That was a huge plus and a bonus out of doing this work that we're talking about today. Who knew that clarity and shifting how you reveal clarity instead of seeking it can actually teach you how to become more compassionate about yourself and not judge? This is not easy work, it's simple. These three codes are simple. They're not easy, but they are necessary. Because if I didn't make these shifts, I didn't become aware of my patterns, which were affecting how I show up, how I make decisions, where I was deciding from, where was my authority? Was it my authority to make my decisions outside of myself? Someone else telling me that this is the right time? The external world, my certain circumstances were telling me it was okay to do it now? Or was I making decisions from an inner authority where it was like, this feels like a hell yes, like I'm doing this. That's a hell no. It affected how I asked for support. being worthy enough to say, being vulnerable enough to say, yeah, I need help, being wise enough to say, I'm not in this journey alone. Like, who am I to think that I am all of that? There's so much forces outside of me that are wanting to come in and help. And then how do I receive that? Your patterns are everything. One of my biggest was rushing. I was always rushing because rushing came from the space of survival. Rushing so people wouldn't say something negative about me or see me in an ill way. Rushing felt safe, slowing down felt dangerous. So once I started to realize this, I didn't jump into fixing mode. The first thing I actually did was I started to feel it first. So before the fixing came the feeling. And we never fix, we shift. But I had to feel this first. And this is why I had to feel it first. I had to understand what rushing felt like for me, what proving felt like for me. I actually had to feel that in my body. And I had to know in that moment I was safe. But what that did for me was it allowed me to have the pause. It didn't mean push it away, run away, avoid it, show up every day avoiding that to happen. I actually felt happy when it did because I knew when it was coming, it was also asking to be released. And that release was gave me the space I needed to actually trust myself more, to actually be present, to actually be an observer to the situation I was trying to rush through, to become more and more aware of my patterns that were blocking the clarity that was required for me to see my path forward, to see the path that was always waiting for me to finally see. So your code or your prompt today for code 2 is this. What do you tend to do when you feel unclear? What's the pattern that you follow? Take a moment, take 10 moments, doesn't matter. Come back to this tomorrow. Write that down. Reflect. See where this lands for you. Don't try and fix it. Just notice it. That's all you have to do in this moment. And I will see you in a minute for clarity code number 3. Okay, welcome back. Clarity code number 3. This is where we bring it all home. We talked about the truth behind clarity, that it's not something that's found or created, it's revealed. We talked about what's blocking clarity, your patterns, it's you, which is such a great thing because that anchors us, that reclaims our power. Well, if I'm blocking the clarity that I know is important, and clarity allows me to see what's coming, clarity reveals itself when it's meant to and shows me my next step that is aligned with who I am. That's freedom. That's your $1 million life. But what is required through that process? What is required through the unblocking of the patterns? Clarity code number 3 is this: self-trust clears the way. Self-trust clears the way for clarity to be revealed. For a long time, I thought trust meant trusting myself to get it right. You'll be good. You can do this. You can do this. Just, you got it. You got this. That wasn't good energy. It was like the cheerleading team was telling me I was good if I got it right. But what if I didn't get it right? What if it didn't work out? So then that put me into a place of fear of making the right decision, choosing the right path. That's not what trust is. Trust is letting go of that control. That can feel scary because control is our illusion, gives us the illusion of safety. And the truth is, we can't control outcomes. We can't control if somebody sees us or thinks about us. We can't control the pace something's going to unfold. We don't have any control over that. Self-trust isn't about trusting everything's going to work out perfectly. It's actually about trusting that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Self-doubt, doubt, fear, it can't survive in that environment. That's a condition that it can't survive, but it is a condition that reveals clarity. Self-trust is committing to the idea, accepting the idea that you're not alone. To think that you are the only one that is responsible for your path is crazy. That's actually not the kind of delusional you want to be. You want to be delusional about your desires, but you don't want to be delusional about thinking you're the one that is going to make this all happen. There's so many forces, so many people, so many synchronicities, so many things that are going to happen, but they need you to trust. They need you to believe. Belief starts with trust. Trust anchors belief. You've always been supported, even when you couldn't see it. If you slow down enough to look at your whole life, even in the maybe some of the darkest moments, and we all have them, somehow you got out of them because guess what? You're still here. You're here right now. So something had to work out in order for that to happen. When it comes to business and ideas, I have had to learn how to trust my ideas. Not from a place of those are good ideas, they're validated ideas, they're marketable ideas. People are going to want what you have to offer. Here's where the trust had to shift from the ideas being something outside of myself to something that was a part of me. Those ideas were there to teach me, to help me grow, to help me learn something and experience something I haven't yet experienced so that I can continue the path forward. So all of a sudden, ideas didn't feel so scary. They weren't about proving and making it all right and being worthy of them. They were already in me, they were already mine. There was nothing to be worthy of. Those ideas were there to shape me. When I stopped trying to control how things were going to turn out, which was exhausting, clarity just kept coming in the strangest ways. Small, big, didn't matter. The only time I felt stuck was when I let the outside world decide for me. Trusting things that were outside of myself first. Living a life, to me, $1 million life is about alignment. When you trust yourself first, you feel a strategy is right for you. You feel a mentor is right for you. You feel a decision is right for you. The filter that you look at to make those decisions isn't coming from the outside in, it's coming from the inside out. It changes everything. The noise quiets. The patterns quiet. The path becomes bright, clear. The confidence rises. The imagination becomes more bigger than ever. Your joy inside you elevates. That's $1 million life, baby, isn't it? So for clarity code number 3, self-trust clears the way. I want you to think about what would trust look like for you right now in your life instead of forcing and pushing. Where could you trust yourself more instead of forcing and pushing an outcome or clarity to know your next step? And how does that feel in your body? Let that land for a minute, come back, and then we're going to bring this all together. Okay. If you remember nothing else today, I want you to remember this. You don't need to chase clarity. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to have the whole path figured out. You need to pause instead of force. You need to notice your patterns, and you need to stay with yourself when fear shows up, because clarity is going to meet you there every time. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sitting with me in this conversation today. I want you to take all of this, don't rush through it. Don't try to fix anything, just notice. If you liked what you heard today, if this resonated with you, I did create a simple Clarity Codes pocket guide that you can download, put in your phone, jump into it during the day, whenever you want, when you feel something's coming up and you're like, oh, I want to remind myself of those codes. Put them in your own words, do whatever you need to. Stop questioning whether clarity is available for you, or they have to work really hard to get it. Start trusting that it's already within you and it's just waiting to be revealed. Thanks for being here today. Cheers.